You know this, man, back in the day, man, when you sneeze, what people used to say to you.
Bless you. Oh, God bless you.
Back in the day, they said, God bless you. Nah, it's just bless you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's interesting, man, like how, we talked about the school system, stuff like that, how they, like, if we ain't careful, man, we gonna take God out of everything if we not careful. And it's like, can you picture a life, bro, if we took God out of everything?
Bro, I mean, I just see it as like chaotic.
That's what I'm saying. There is no life.
Right.
It's like, it's interesting. Even though life isn't the best all the time, it's almost like life still abides by rules.
100%.
And it's like we, maneuvering within life, we still abide by rules. But if you take the God element out of everything, man, all you have is chaos. Also taking things for granted, man. It's like, man, relationships, marriage, just your role period in life. A lot of times, whatever that role may be that you play within your life, others' life, it's like we take that stuff for granted also. And then if we're not careful with that, man, to fail at a role, man, a role that was presented and laid out for you, to fail at a role. How can you be a role player and you failing as a role player? I mean, granted, if you're on a team with individuals, sometimes you might not be friends with this person or anything like that. It could simply be business or like that's work.
Right.
But again, everybody has a role to play, and if you're a supporting player or a supporting cast to a certain a group, it's like, man, if you make the decision, man, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it today. Y'all will see me tomorrow. Like,
right.
Bro, like,
yeah.
You mess around, and if that game that you playing and determines whether you even see tomorrow, that means tomorrow ain't even gonna happen.
True.
Y'all are, hey, I'm taking a night off. After the game, tell a cheerleaders drinks on me.
Hey, bro, straight.
Like that brother, like just
right.
Like, did he clock out before you even clocked in? Like, but people operate like that in life a lot of times. Sometimes we look at ourselves, we think of ourselves too high. Sometimes we think of ourselves too low, and it's interesting just saying that because you can really legit have that David Ruffin complex. Then you up too high.
Yeah, for real.
Y'all ain't nothing without me. Yeah,
100%.
And then you can think of yourself too low. Like, what do I even have to offer? I mean, I'm just in the room with y'all. Like, y'all are the ones that make it happen. I'm just, I'm just here.
Right, just existing.
Yeah, exactly. Or are you even existing at that point if you don't even look at yourself as existing?
Right. You just feel like you're taking up space.
If you ever feel like you just taking up space and mentally you defeated, that's a waste. And so, I see all of that to say this, man. Like, for far too long, like, you can get into like relationships with people, man, and it's like sometimes we spend too much time, man, just wasting time. And it's like, where is this thing headed? Like, we really need to ask that question with everything that we doing. Where is this thing headed, or where is this leading me, or what am I offering to this particular project, or what am I offering to the direction of this? It's like, man, because otherwise, man, like, what are we doing, man? Otherwise we sleepwalking.
I call it accountability, or like sometimes we just, like you said, we have no direction, and the projects we get into or the things we doing in life, we just kind of like moving through it without even thinking about it. Sometimes you ever had that moment where you like, bro, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really been where I need to be mentally. You know what I'm saying? As far as what I'm doing.
Talk about that state for a second. What am I doing? What is that state? What do you think that is?
You see where you could be or where you want to be in life, and whether you have those highs and lows in life, maybe you're in a low point and you just kind of like feel defeated. So your decision making is going to be defeated. You know what I mean? You're not going to be really purposeful about how you make your decision, whether that's being distracted by certain things, whether that's, just not really, just like a, careless attitude towards whatever you're doing, whether it's your job or whatever, and your performance shows your mental climate. You know what I mean? So like, if you're feeling defeated inside, 9 times out of 10 or a lot of times, you're going to perform like that. And sometimes you do have to have that moment to where you sit down and be like, yo, where am I going? Like, what am I doing? Like, what's, because I'm getting all these symptoms of how I'm feeling, but where is that coming from? And then from there, it's kind of like stopping the car and be like, all right, look at the map. Like, okay, where we at right now?
We got to figure this out.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting. I asked you about the state. When you said that, I got this image in my head, man, like of a Joker, like a Joker being pushed out of a plane, right? But this is the difference. The Joker he's not even awake, but he awakes in the state of free falling.
Sometimes
that's how it is. Right? It's like, bro, sometimes you wake up in the midst of like a free falling state. You're like, yo, for real, what do I have going on?
Right.
Like, I've been at this for months, haven't accomplished nothing, just wasting time. It's like
it really be like that, bro. Like 100%. You just baffled, like, bro.
For real, man.
Writing down some stuff today, and it's kind of in line with it. The less I have to think about, the more I have to focus on. And that I'm talking about in the sense of simplifying your life, focusing on the main things, and then removing the fluff. Because I think a lot of times we can get in that free fall state because we got a lot of fluff that's in our life that's kind of like, you can't see the direction. It's almost like being in a room full of balloons. You just kind of like swimming around, can't really tell where you at. And 3 points real quick is like, as your life changes, your regimen and routine has to be flexible. So your routine and your regimen has to adjust to your new lifestyle. And a lot of times in life, life is free flowing, it's flexible. It's like a bending bamboo stick, and if your regimen, your routine don't adapt to that, whether it's new hours at work, whether it's a new child, whether it's a new relationship, then you trying to force your old regimen, your old way of doing things to this new way of living. Number 2, finding 3 to 5 things that will move you forward towards your goals that you enjoy doing. And not just something that you see somebody else doing that has attained what you're trying to get. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I find myself doing that, whether it's workout goals or whether it's money goals, financial goals. Some people in a different place than I am because there's levels to life. You know what I mean? And I got to find 3 to 5 things in my life that can move me towards what I'm trying to achieve, where I currently am with what I have. Number 3 is the fluff. Like I talked about earlier. Fluff comes in the form of trying to feel something, right? And if it's conversation, sometimes you feel the conversation with just rambling. If it's time, you just feel it with just mindless things. You know what I mean? That's the fluff. That's
interesting, man, because earlier when you were talking, when you first aired the fluff, what I picked up from that is you were talking about flexibility. But also, like, you think about, you was talking about like trying to swim through a room full of balloons, whatever. But it's clutter.
Right.
It's the moment you rid yourself of the clutter, you have room to operate. Mm-hmm. It's like that's when you can bend things to your own will. Now your schedule is more, is more bending. It's more, It's funny because when it's cluttered, it's pending.
Right.
You're like, I'll get back with you on that.
I was about to say that. I'll get back to that, man.
But then it's like when you clean up your schedule, you can really start to see the windows now within your time. Okay, now you become bending. Yeah, man. More bendable. You can. Yeah, I got a little window here. I can see you. Yeah, right. We go ahead. We go in and we do a little lunch date, man. It won't hurt nothing. But before that, you just running around, because like what they say, a chicken with his head cut off. I don't even know what that looked like, honestly.
Bro, I don't know where you going. Just back and forth. Circles,
to
nothing.
Me, analogy that would be more fitting than that would be like a fish out of water. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because a fish get to bouncing, just don't even care. But a chicken with his head cut off,
it's crazy.
They say that about a snake too.
Snakes right. They do the same thing. Okay. I know that. I ain't even like the way that hit.
But I think hit different. But how a dead snake still clear out a room? You done chopped off the head and that bug still moving.
Right,
everybody,
bro. That's 100%.
But nah, man, like overcoming the obstacles that's presented in life that create the clutter, that create distractions, that create, trauma, that all of these things, finding a way to really like push past all of that stuff. Find a way to, first of all, you got to deal with it before you can push past anything. Like an unclean room. The only way that you're going to ever find the flexibility to do as you choose in your room is you got to clean it up. You got to go through it. You got to clean it up. Every day you walk in there and say, dog, this room getting more and more junky. Every day you walk in there and say that, more is going to be added to it. Mm-hmm. But the moment you say, you know what, I deal with this today. I'm going to deal with this right now by tackling this. Then it's like you deal with those issues. You deal with the trauma. You deal with the oppression. You deal with the depression. You deal with the, you make a impression.
100%, bro. And I think, go ahead, my bad. Finish your. The thing that came to mind with you was when you were speaking was people be like, bro, what you got going on, man? People like, man, I'm going slow motion, and like what you was talking about with the clutter and like sitting down and dealing with it. I feel like you feel like you don't have much going on sometimes when you hear other people like, bro, my man got it going on, or they doing their thing. You feel like you have to sometimes have a lot going on.
Interesting. You just took us to a segue. I'm not even about to attempt to talk about this with women right now. We ain't even gonna touch the women part of this.
Right.
With men. Why do you think we do that? We always comparing. It's like you come out, you get you a nice looking car, and then you done threw some rims on it. Then the next person, hey, what size you got, bro? You know what I'm saying? You say you got 20-inch. The next time, buddy, you see buddy got 22s. You know what I'm saying? Like, but why do you think? And it's like, man, like, in the street, let's talk real. Let's be real about it, man. Like, it's like a woman to tell a guy, like a lot of times you get situations like this here. One of the dudes might have dated a female, and then like another dude is now dating her, and then she get wind that the talk is about her, but it's like now it's like everything it's about competing among those two over her, and and you might hear a comment like this here, why is everything about the measurement of your size, so to speak. Right. So it's like, why does it even get to that? Is that overcompensate?
Yeah,
like, why?
Man, I think it's normal to a certain extent. Like, I feel like that's just normal part of being human. You know what I mean? You're going to compare. It depends on, like, then.
You think that's normal?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like,
okay, here we go. Let's go.
I think,
what you think is normal about it?
Comparing, like, I feel like it's necessary for certain things, like depending on what angle you coming in at it, because coming in at it from that angle, I feel like could be destructive, or like it just ain't gonna be a good turnout. As versus saying like you have to compare. To me, you have to compare to know where you stand at. Know your standing. Right.
Okay. Now I get that, but okay, you said a word, normal. Mm-hmm. You know how I feel about that word.
What? How you feel?
Normal and ordinary. What is normal? What is ordinary?
When I say it, it's like the standard, like what's coming. I say it like that. No, normal is, to me, when I hear it, it's like generalized for like what's normal. You know what I mean?
No, hold on. You say what?
What's generalized? Yeah, normal is a generalization, pretty much.
A generalization of what?
Whatever it is, whatever we're talking about. So like it could be normal for it's normal for Americans to wear blue jeans. You know what I mean? It's just like the common thing. It's the most general thing that you could see. Normal could be, fades for black people. It's normal to see a black person with a nice fade or a temp fade because that's, it's common. It's a
so
lot
it's common,
going on.
Common. Well, why don't we just say common instead of normal? Because really and truly, like, and this is where I'm at with it. To me, normal doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because you're right. It could be common for us all, most Americans, to wear blue jeans, both men and women. Right. That could be common, right? But what could be uncommon is how people look in them jeans.
True.
Everybody don't look the same in jeans. And normal, to me, you're never going to get normal when you got, in this world, as big as this world is, it's comprised of individuals.
Right.
So that's the key word right there, individuals. So normal or ordinary, it's like...
No, I agree with you, man. I think too, like from where you coming from, I think it depends on in what context you're using it in. Like if you saying somebody,
Well, give me a couple different ways to use both of those words.
Let me see.
I like stuff like this.
Like normal, like hey, like I said, like the example, like it's normal for Americans to wear blue jeans. That's a good way of using it. Now, if you say it's normal for Americans to have LeBron skills, then you like when it comes to people, I don't think necessarily you could, like to your point, say that people are normal. Like you could compare it in that way. But as far as like a generalization, like I said with jeans or clothing or things like that, sometimes you could use it like that.
Okay, so. But again, so me, if I wanted to debate against that, I would say that isn't normal. I would say it's more so common than normal, like you said before. So that's what
That's a good one, man. Because you got me thinking now.
Yeah, because you say it's normal for Americans to wear blue jeans, and I could come back and I could debunk that, and I could say, okay, well, just because you never seen it before in China, maybe you have. Certain Chinese people that still wear blue jeans as well.
Right.
So it would be more fitting to say common than normal. Because really and truly, when you start, see, like, that's my thing. Normal, when we say normal, man, it's like we put so much under that umbrella.
Right.
Normal. We saying that is the status quo. That's what we try to say. But we could say, look, check this out. We could say it's normal for boys to be bad and girls to be good.
Right.
That's what we could say, and we both know that's not the case.
Right, 100%.
So it's that's gonna always be debated.
Nah, I definitely get where you're coming from, dog. I think those words do get interchanged. And it could kind of like mercury it a little bit depending on
ordinary.
Right.
Yeah,
that's ordinary. I feel you on that, man. I think it just depends on how you use it, what you're using it about. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. So I got something that I want to talk to you about, man. We ain't never went here before, but bruh, it's like, man, I felt a little quiver just now before I even said it just now. Like, you get on the airways and get served, you're like, y'all about to talk about that?
Hey, you got me like that now. I'm like, where we about to go with this?
Whoa there. And left, whoa there. Wait. See it right?
That's funny.
So we going back to it from last week, boy. Hey, we got to do that skit, bro. But man, I want to talk today briefly, because this could be a whole segment, something tell me. But like sex. Matter of fact, I ain't never heard myself say that over the airways. So I'm gonna say sex. I'm sorry. I always wanted to do this. So since I got a mic in my hand, allow me. We could just the bloopers. You could do what you do with this later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your night high. E-Millie coming to you on the ones and twos. All right.
Hey, bro. Hey, you got it though. You feel me? You got it, man.
I always wanted to do that.
Nah, that sound perfect, bro.
Almost.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, cool. A little radio voice.
That's what I was thinking about. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, that's perfect radio voice, dog.
So yeah. So getting back on topic. All right. So sex. Oh, my voice changed again for that. something about that word. But yeah. Let's talk about the power of sex.
All right.
Let's talk about that. So when I introduced that topic to you, just like that, what do you think? Like, what hits you when you heard that topic?
It's like it's a taboo topic. It can go both ways. It's like a censored topic. You know what I mean? Depending on how, like, where you going with it.
I'm gonna trip you out. Your whole body language done changed right now.
Oh, yeah, cause for me, yeah, nah, you right. You right, bro.
See, brother, say, let me definitely think about what I'm gonna say before I say.
It's one of those. When it come up, I'll just say taboo. It's a taboo topic. You know what I mean? And what's the word I'm looking for, man? But it's just like one of those words. It's an adult word. I'll say it like that.
It's an adult word. I like that. It's an adult word. Got you. So, ladies and gentlemen, put the kiddos to bed. There we go.
Right. That's how.
That's how you started off. Yeah,
that's it.
But the power of sex.
Right.
When you hear that topic, phrase like that, what comes into your mind? The power of sex.
Just like the saying, sex sells. Like people say that. Yeah, just sex sells, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure thing. So like, pleasure is always gonna see. Pleasure is always gonna sell because we always seeking pleasure.
Is it really truly pleasure? Okay, is it pleasureful for everyone though?
I wouldn't say for everyone, but everyone I feel like, yeah, I wouldn't say it's pleasurable for everyone.
Now is when you want to really use them words that we were just talking about.
What?
It could be more so common for a lot of folk.
Right.
For it to be pleasurable.
Exactly.
But for some, it's not. It's certain people in this world, man, that to be honest with you, they cringe at the thought of the word sex being used because it was used to them as a weapon. Mm-hmm. Used against them as a weapon. And because of that, you got certain individuals out here that's broken because of that. And, you know, so from that standpoint, the power of sex created a victim. Excuse me. So on another note, the power of sex, with certain people, it can cause people to do certain things that they wouldn't normally do because they are under the influence of.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
You know, and that's what I want to talk to you about, like, you know, or talk with you about for a moment, man. It's like, you know, like you say, man, it's very much, man, it's uncomfortable to talk to a lot of people about this topic, which is crazy to me because it's like, I was just actually talking to a young man about this today, and one thing about sex, man, and you know, what I'll say is, certain people, if you're operating under a certain light in a certain room, and in this particular room, under this particular light, you have cameras. And the camera's on all the time. They just rolling. And the people know that they're being recorded. You're going to get a certain movement from them understanding that they're being recorded under these lights. They're going to act a certain way.
Right.
Now, if you take and right next door in this next room, you got a dark room. And ain't nothing being recorded. A person is going to be free to be themselves. You don't know what you're going to get out of that person in that room.
Right.
But they're going to be way more comfortable, way more free than the person in this room with this light and, you know, this light and these cameras. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, in essence, it's like when dealing with like the topic of sex and how people function in regards to sex, it's like a lot of people, you know, when I was younger, man, I remember coming up, man, I was thinking, man, it's easy when you young, man, to say, man, I never do that. This, that, and other, man. Oh, nah, that's some foolishness. Or you'll rip into somebody else if you find out about something else regarding somebody else. But then it's like, what I got older, and it's like I was talking to the young man, and I said, you know, what I learned is it's easy to be judgmental onto somebody else, or in the sense, man, to tear somebody down when you haven't been through nothing in your life. Right. So for this person here, it's no different than like I talked to you before. It's like, man, being in church, right? And being viewed in church. And you the person that's in church, but here it is, this young lady isn't married. She has 3 kids. The older saints looking at her, child. That's all you see, the head shaking in the child's. Right. You know good and well, when you hear that child, she gonna be the topic of conversation after church. Mm-hmm. Gladys, right. Child, did you see what she had on? And she had the audacity to be in the front row. She's again, yeah, you know she trying to be eye candy for the man of the Lord, right, you know. But now she got them so distracted they ain't even paying attention to church. So it's like in a situation like that, who's winning? Because it's a crowd that will argue and say, well, at least that sister in church.
Right. And it's a lot of that going on. You know what I mean? And it deters a lot of people from even wanting to go to church.
You're right. What I'm saying? You're right. Now, my thing is, okay, this young lady may have 3 kids, right? She's 3 children in, but she's being judged, she's being slandered, all this thing, all this, that, and the other. But then you got another person that could be right there on the same road she's on, could be sitting right next to her, and this person could be worse off than her when it comes to talking about past or even the current state.
Right.
This person was just out, might have been smashing right before church.
Right.
Or out last night doing God knows what. The only difference is one shows. Mm-hmm. The 3 kids shows what she's been through. The other person, you don't know. You don't know. So just because we can't see it, we assume all is well.
Right.
But over here, child,
bro, that's a great topic, man. I say too, man, like saints, bro, like for me, like this is my opinion. I think saints, like a true saint, is somebody that's been through stuff, converted, you know what I'm saying, changed their life around. You are somebody that can help others. You know what I mean?
Usher them on.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're not looking at them like that because you know from personal experience.
You come from that.
Bruh. You know what I mean?
In no better way. Okay. And that's no better teacher than experience. If you could be delivered, then it's a way out for them.
1,000%.
And it's all the way that you bring them in, and that should be by way of love.
100%.
By way of love.
Man, I think that's a great thing. One thing I don't know how to attack it, but like you said, one shows, one doesn't. And that's a very prevalent, man, because there's a lot of things in the world that you can look at to where you hear things to where it's like, I would have never thought so and so was doing that.
Exactly.
What I mean?
What if you knew?
Right.
That when you know something, it eliminates the thoughts, and automatically people come up with their own perception then.
Right. True.
So a lot of times when you don't know, that's the best. Because you are actually able to treat certain people with love and the care that you otherwise wouldn't treat them if you would have knew exactly what they had going on.
That's 100% true, man. I think too, on the flip side too, when it's presented to you up front, you're a lot more accepting to it than if you find out later and it's hidden. Like, for instance,
I don't know, bro. I don't know about
well,
that.
I'm saying
it depends, because that's why certain people don't tell certain things, because they already know what happened to so and so when they first showed.
Right. True.
That's why they said, man, forget that.
I think that's a good point, man. I think for me, I think it's a little bit more accepting on most things if it's presented out front. Like, hey, bro, this is what it is. I'm not too sure if you're comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Or, matter of fact, scratch that. I'll say with the kids, right? Girl coming to church with 3 kids up front, you know what I'm saying? And you already know what it is when you see that. Versus Brother John over here, who you never even knew had a side family. You know what I'm saying? And he come out with 3 kids.
You say come out?
Yeah. You know what I mean? He
didn't draw the out.
Right. So it's like, in the long run, I feel like old girl is gonna be more accepted. The hurt is gonna last a little bit shorter than with Brother John over here.
So okay, my question is, if she comes to the church, how can you hurt and she comes to the church when hear me out good? Right. How can you hurt when she comes to the church? The church is the hospital.
Well, I used the wrong word. I used the wrong word for that.
But you're saying something though that really is prevalent. It's there. My thing, let me change the scenario if I can. Okay, let's say, first of all, I love you, Tina, whoever you are. I'm not there. I don't know nobody right now off the top but anyways, I'm just using this as an example. So Tina might have grew up in the church, came up in the church. Matter of fact, knows the scripture well.
Right.
Everybody already, they had appointed Tina. Oh, that's the second coming right there. That girl ate. She bad now. She know that word now. She know the word. She know the word.
Right.
If something go wrong, I want her praying for me.
Yeah, right.
You know. But see again, look how we anoint her and appoint her. You know. So now we already put on a pedestal as high. Well, Tina just keeps coming to church. Tina makes a bit of mistake, just like any and every one of us are capable of.
Right.
She messes around and she's introduced to sex. The thing is, she just gets pregnant the first time she has sex. Now, the next predicament is, should I keep it or not? Now, she knows scripture. Now, automatically, this is something else she has to deal with. But now she already thinking about the saints around here, how they going to take to her.
Right.
You know, so anyway, she elects to keep it. Now, all right, so also in the church, you got... we just call him Toby. Toby named it. Everybody know about Toby. Anyway, Toby business all on the screen. But Toby toe up. He's still coming to, you know what I'm saying? He's still coming to church anyways too. The brother Slizzard in church. But still, it's like, you know, it's a lot of people that will look and pick a side on this situation.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they'll look at Toby and they'll say, well, we expect that from him.
Ah, yeah.
Her, she was the... Wow.
What?
I see what you did there, Lord. I see what you did. You get moments like this, man, and this just so happened, this is live right now. And God working on me. Chastising me right now about something.
Yep.
Dealing with my niece. Wow. One thing about it, man, I guess this is something that has to be done before I turn my next age, if God allow me to see it. But we hold on to a lot of stuff, bro. We hold on to a lot of stuff. And the people that's quick to say they're not judgmental, they could be the most judgmental people. Yeah, and man. What it is, the thing that slips in there is the fact that they get hurt because they put so much of an onus, or they have put certain people on such a high pedestal because they wanted them to be better than they ever was, or better than anything that they had previously seen before. That's how strongly you can believe in somebody, but instead of believing in somebody, that same belief we put into somebody, we should put that into the Lord. But we can't do that because a lot of times it's not tangible. We can't see the Lord. Right. But we can see somebody. We can see how great he is, and we can see the presence of him through somebody else. So we'll believe in that person. Then the person makes a slip up, a misstep, a trip up. Right. And now all of a sudden, that was supposed to be. Right. That's how we talk about it, past tense now. That was supposed to be the best of us all.
That's real, bro.
Then we lose faith. In the process, we lose faith in the system. We lose faith in the Lord. We lose faith because now the problem was we put all our faith and all our investment into one basket. And the basket had a hole in it. We didn't know anything about it. But it's cool because, see, it may not even have been defective. But what happened was we kept putting stuff into it, and then the bottom fell out.
Man, dude. Full circle, E.
Man, I apologize. I had to let that go. Now all of that for this, I had to let that go. I apologize.
That's real, man.
I was wrong. I know probably like listeners like, well, what just happened? What just happened is I got chastised.
That's real, man.
I just took mine, I took mine how I was supposed to take it. I understand what I need to do, which is, for me, I need to go and apologize. Yeah. I have some words that need to be said.
But I think that's a part of it too, man, because we grow in that. And like we allow the Lord to do that, you know what I'm saying, with our hearts. Like you said, we lose faith. And for me, like I was talking to a scripture, it was Psalms 37. The whole chapter, man, is just amazing. But the the more, like you said, we grew up in the church. Some of us grew up in church. Some of us just found church, but we lose faith in it because we don't necessarily lose faith in the church. We lose faith in the people. Yeah, like you just said. And for me, the more I study the word, the more I look into it, the more I read for it myself. Each time brings me closer and closer and closer. And the less time I spend away. You know what I mean? And I think, like you were just speaking to, like, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, we allow the Lord to work on us, and those would be new revelations. You know what I'm saying? Those would be new testimonies. Definitely. You know what I mean? And we have to read into that, because next time it happens, it'll get shorter and shorter, and the less time we'll spend in that gray area. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to add that, bro.
Man, you're right, man. That's big. That's big time. What we'll do, man, that's real. The power of sex, we'll come back and we'll talk on that. That'll be another topic. I feel like we probably got 3 things. Right. Yeah, so you got a couple of, shopping points. But I want to say this, man, before we end. You can't live this life thinking that you the biggest, the grandest thing walking around, or the biggest, the grandest talking, because you only a day away from being humble. You only a play away from being humbled. You only are as good as accepting when you made a mistake. And real. That being good enough to understand that will usher you into figuring out what your greatness is. You got to be good enough to understand when you've made a mistake. A lot of people, we have never even uttered the words, I made a mistake, or I apologize, or my bad, or whatever. We have never even uttered those words because we want everybody to see us on top of the mountain all the time. But the moment that you can become relatable is when the mountain is actually starting, and you see a little shaking in the mountain. You see rocks falling from the mountain. Then you know, oh, it's real. Right. It's movement. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? But if it's still all the time, you question, man, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? The moment you get movement, you realize it enhances the picture. You understand the magnitude of the situation. That's like a mountain becoming a volcano. The moment you never even knew a volcano was there. All the time you thought it was a mountain. Then all of a sudden that movement happens underneath, and then the top burst, and next thing you know, man, oh, we need to be getting up out of here. But my point is, never be too man enough or woman enough to apologize. We make mistakes. We do. More often than a little bit. Right. And so
more often than we would like to admit.
Definitely that. But again, you want to understand, or you want to reach the most powerful version of yourself. The most powerful version of self is when you can go out and wrong somebody. When you big and bad enough to as the saints used to say back in the day, bless somebody out. It's funny. Bless and then curse. You can bless somebody out, then you can curse somebody else, but it still mean the same difference. But when you big and bad enough to do all that, do your bad. Right. Then guess what? Be big and bad enough to do right. Meaning you go back and make it right. If you was wrong, hey, now go and reach the most powerful version of yourself and go admit, hey, I gotta find you. Just yesterday, I told you about yourself. Now I'm telling you about myself. Self was wrong.
That's real.
And that right there, that's when people look at you and see you in a whole nother light.
100%, bro. Man, dude, that's real, dog. I ain't got nothing else to say on that, bro. We got to close on that, man. You know what I'm saying? One thing I will add though, man, is I would say is God is love. You know what I'm saying? And when you do things like that, you express the love of God. You know what I mean? Because my pastor said that we are the church. You know, we think the church is a building, which it is.
We
but
carry
we
it
are
within.
exactly. Mm-hmm. So like when we do things like that, we touch another person. It's almost like a tree, because one tree could produce hundreds of fruit. You know what I mean? And that one impact you have with somebody is going to produce another 100 fruit. Whether that impact is a good impact or a bad impact. You know what I mean? But we carry the love of God. And when you have moments like that where you can admit certain things, it expresses the love of God and what it truly stands for. You know what I mean?
Bro, I want to say something, man, before we go. I wondered. I'm going to tell y'all something that y'all may not even, I don't know if I explained this over the airways or not before, but I've been going through therapy, and I can honestly say, I told myself I was going to keep my lip zip until I knew. Today, I can honestly say I'm healing. Today, I can honestly say, like without a doubt, I'm seeing changes in myself for the better. I can recognize certain things, and because of that, you know, I couldn't even bring my mouth to state that I was better before the time was right.
Right.
But now I can definitely say, because it's been a lot of wounds that weren't healing properly. But the things that we find hardest to do when we in the midst of a struggle, the moment we start to find comfort in being able to admit this is a struggle area for me. Right. Or I've been struggling with this far too long. I haven't even known how to go about saying this the right way, or I haven't known how to even begin to find the right tools or resources, or the right ointment to put on on the scar or the wound, whatever. Now I can honestly say, it takes time sometimes. Right. It does. But the thing about it, if God allow you to see another day, that's time served. Do right by your time.
That's it, man. Hey, bro, I appreciate that, bro. That was fire. You know what I mean? That took a whole nother turn, man. That was dope. This has been the Real Talk Podcast, man. Appreciate you guys for listening. If you enjoyed what we said, you like some of the things that were said in the podcast, like, share, comment, tell a friend, tell a family member. And this is the Real Talk Podcast, man. Peace.
Real talk.
We appreciate you giving us a listen. If you like this episode and would like to engage with us or support, reach out through our social media platforms, linked in the description, and tune in every Thursday to check out new episodes. See you next week.